This is your training video for the horizontal bridge card. It will fit in an envelope folded flat like this, and it will stand up to sit on a counter like that. And these are the parts to the card. One tool that you're going to want for assembly is a bone folder, because you're going to want a crisp fold on the edges. So step one is going to be to adhere the leaf parts. Normally, what we do is we go a 1/4 inch smaller in size. So where this is 4.5, this is 4. Because we're going to have two borders sideways right next to each other, I did not cut these a full 1/4 inch smaller. I cut them 1/8 inch smaller. The next thing you want to do is put the inside piece. The next step is to create your folds. Now you're definitely going to want a bone folder on this and do all 4 creases. This one comes to the inside and out, and then really firm that down, and then go from the back, and then do the same thing on the other side. Now you have a card that will sit on the counter this way, but fold up in an envelope this way. The next thing to do is to create this bridge piece. For this particular card, I'm going to start by putting my word on. So I put my word into that lower corner because my flowers are going to go in the upper corner. This piece was not quite wide enough for me to feel like I was going to have a secure thing holding these two pieces together. Just so you understand the bridge, again, it's going to fold flat for an envelope like that or like that. But these corners have to hold tight to that outside piece, and I didn't feel like I had enough. So for this one, I just added something that would extend the length. So a bit of tape down here and then centering it on the yellow piece. Be to put the flowers together. Now you can use liquid glue, you can use tape runner. I'm actually going to hold my flowers together with glue dots. Press it down firmly and pull sideways, and it pulls off the dot on the back. And then I can angle these. You can do any arrangement of those flowers that you want, but I will point out one thing. I tried to overlap my petals a little bit here when I put them together. And it doesn't make any difference the order of the colors. I just like the dark kind of pulling you in and having all that white in one place, but you can arrange them any way you want. One thing I am doing here, I wasn't quite as careful on this sample, but I want to make sure I don't have a petal in the middle where that gem is going to go. So I wanted to make sure I left enough open space for that. All right, I'm going to set these aside for just a moment because I want to make sure that they don't hang off the edge of the card. So now I'm ready to attach this sheet onto the front of my card. Remember that the bridge is only going to be attached to those 2 front flaps, nothing else. So that doesn't give me a whole lot of space, and I do want to make sure that it's centered as well. So I'm going to use my grid paper and make some marks on it to line it up for myself. The first thing I'm doing is lining up the creases with 2 lines that are on my grid paper. Now, if you don't have grid paper, you can just make lines for where those 2 creases are. Now that I've got it below the card itself, now I can see where my glue cannot go past that mark. It has to be inside of this edge of the yellow piece, and it can't go past that edge where the corner of the paper is. So my glue can cover this space. Same thing over here. It can't go past about that mark. I'm leaving myself just a little bit of wiggle room in case I slide it around a little bit. So my glue can go in this space right here. Does that make sense? I'm going to show it to you again just to make sure. The bridge covers the two front flaps. When it folds, it's going to fold either of these two ways to fit in an envelope. Isn't that fun? I need to make sure that my glue stays in this tiny space and this tiny space. Slightly lower than center. And lay it on there. Now, truth be told, using the glue, I can't let this fold back up on itself. So I put a weight on here because I can't let this fold up on itself because it will, it's not attached yet. It's got to dry on there. So we're going to let that sit for just a moment. While that's sitting, I can come back and attach my rhinestones to the flowers. Now you'll notice that your rhinestones, I've given you 4. 3 of them should be big and 1 should be slightly smaller in size. Now you're ready to adhere your flowers, and again, whatever adhesive you prefer at this point. Paying attention to where the adhesive can go, it can go underneath any part of the white flower. It can go underneath this part of the pink flower, but not behind here. It can go under the bottom half of the yellow flower, but not the top. And there you have your finished bridge fold, ready to slip into an envelope and send. If you want to add a note to this, my suggestion would be to write a separate note on a piece of paper or put it on the back. You've got this whole surface that you could adhere paper to and write a note.